if there will be any penalty, they'll have to go through that. And the minister also spoke about, for the first time, for Liberia, to fund its national elections, 51 million United States dollars, lot of money. For that to happen, I think it's laudable. It's applaudable. All of us should be thanking the government for taking that sort of money to put it behind elections, because the international people they had around. Yes, they will help with some $10 million, because the entire budget is about 60 million. They will help with that, but the government is taking 51 million United States dollars to put behind elections. I think that is laudable. All of us need to thank this government. Yes, doing a lot with little. The government is not like the previous one that had all the international monies coming in, the billions and the thousands and millions coming in. No, that's not with this government. But with the little that the government is trying to raise locally and internationally, the government is trying to ensure that something happens. Something happens with those monies, and they are appropriately expended for the betterment of all of us. I just thought to talk about that briefly. My guests already are here, so let me just pause, and then I'll be back with the bass of this song. But try to you get.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, uh. Oh, Mama, you are guest here? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you're listening to the Super Money Show, right to the OBC 99.9 and other frequencies across Liberia. Like I said, what am I call it? Colleagues came to my studio and he's here already. Let me welcome Mr. Isaac Red. Mr. Red, who has been in Grand Gideon, in fact, that I was reported yesterday. I spoke for our correspondent, and he quoted Mr. Red very well that journalists should do away with acts that are inimical to the entire process, or that may honor the matter of process. Mr. Red, welcome to the SMS.
Well, thank you, Summer.
You need to press your...
Oh, okay. See, I always ask people to...
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Now I'm here, you're telling me, all right, so... I mean, I'm not a broadcaster right now. I don't know, I'm a newsmaker or what, but...
yeah, you are a newsmaker.
Let me thank you so much, and I'd like to make a first and a very small clarification that I did not go to Grand Gideon.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a telephone conversation from Banga. I was in Banga and Nimba counties, briefly in Nimba, but I had a little, very expensive, I would say, informative conversation with my colleague Lloyd Farley of the radio station in Grand Gideon, and we're talking about the press union. So the correspondent quoted me, as if I was in Grand Gideon, but I spoke on the radio, not in person, or by telephone.
Okay.
And you're correct. We were trying to explain to our professional colleagues in Grand Gideon and other adjoining counties who are always listening to the stations in Grand Gideon, either by Flash FM, Top FM, or Smart FM, that we are journalists, we're a professional batch, and we should conduct ourselves to put ourselves in minor style and fashion that speaks of high degree of a responsible civil society organization. Even if the soil is always around the barrack. So I'm a government official, but I always talk media issue because when the presidential cover is removed, I go back to the profession as a journalist. So we are concerned about those things that are impacting the lives of our professional colleagues in the countryside. We're going to elections next weekend, and we want to caution our leadership that they should honorably retire.
Next weekend?
Yeah, next weekend.
I thought it was this weekend.
Because of the census holiday on Friday, so the leadership of the PEL defer the Congress from 11 and 12 of November to now the 17 and 19 of November. I'm also told that they are trying to look for resources. They're trying to find funding for feeding, lodging, and transportation of journalists. So that's one of the reasons why. So the census holiday helped to give the leadership some time to organize themselves, put their reports together. The constitution of the PL says 1 week prior to the Congress, the report should be available. But I know that's a business as usual. We'll go to the Congress, it will be a little rowdy and noisy, and then people will say, oh, we'll send a report to your email. We'll send you a soft copy. Because they don't have a report to give us for all the monies they've been getting for projects and donation from political persons.
Okay.
But I can assure you that the members of the PUL in the countryside are determined to remove this current leadership. We're not going to be shifting blame as to where they are and what they didn't do and what they did. We're going to be concerned about projecting an agenda that recognizes the importance of journalists across the country. You cannot only go to the county side and say, World Press Freedom Day, just a t-shirt, and t-shirt are paid for by our partners. You make people to pay for it in Monrovia, but still, we go to the counties, you give it to the journalists in the county, they drill through the principal streets, or say Vonjaman, or say Fishtown, and you say, oh, they are members of the PUL. Are you concerned about the condition? Are you concerned about the environment, in which they're operating? You're not. During the annual award, we always award community radio stations for the kind of story that they put out, and those stories, sir, those stories will make impact on national development. So my colleague Justin Clay will come in later on to expound on this, but I'm just saying to you that there are rough terrains that you guys go, colleagues, male and female journalists go in the counties to collect news, and this news help to inform the greater the policy makers and change things in the country, whether it's about the health, whether it's about the roads. But then we say we don't have the ability as union to monitor the PUL in the counties. Oh, all right. You can monitor them, but you have the means of getting their names to come to you to come and vote. So you want to get them, news them, and dash them. We as senior media people in the country that have very good affluence and influence on these folks that are coming up, will ensure that we remove this batch. We'll ensure that we put a responsible, accountable leadership into the union that will project the policy of actual decentralization. Okay. If Summer George went to Grand Julia County, the PUL of Grand Julia will already have a structure that you can lodge in. You don't have to go to the commercial hotel and pay $50, right? So PUL has a guest house in Grand Julia County. They generate funds on that guest house. Other people doing it. YMCA did it. LORC did it. Why can the PUL don't? Why the PUL don't want to have investment? Because we are media people. We can just depend on us and the salary is low. But what structures are we putting in the counties? Mr. George, if you went to Nima, you went to Bond County, 75% of the radio stations now are owned by radio station practitioners. Yanfremo is building a complex. Radio Compa is building another complex. The YMCA has a structure in Banga. Super Bongi has a structure. Radio Banga has a structure. Kwatike has a very enviable structure. The union, the mother body, does not have a structure. They got a one-door entry-exit office on Clay Street, and we're tired with this. People are annoyed. And you come and tell me you look for money to go to Congress where you got $10,000 in extra account. You must be joking. You must be. Somebody is not thinking. So Yan is our friend, brother. We encourage Yan to take some other ventures. He's very good as a broadcaster, but he cannot be at the hem of authority at the union. He's been there 9 years. 9 years of what? 9 years of a record system that people don't have the internet, the email addresses. 9 years of people with Summer George, nor contact of Summer George as a media person. 9 years of building a headquarters. We cannot be joking with this.
Are you disappointed, Mr. Red? I mean, being a senior media personnel, disappointed in the current president of the press union?
In the current president? No, I think Mr. Coffey is trying to play the regime loyalty. I'm not surprised about people who want to, work with the peers because they know what was in the cookie jar. So of course, you don't expect Mr. Coffey not to protect. So I'm not surprised. I know that Mr. Coffey is dilly-dallying. He's between us and them. And, 1 minute he was us. Another minute he's telling us, look, these are the names that are faulted. Another minute he's with Nyankuna because he's trying to play the game of,
So he's very inconsistent with the whole election?
In terms of loyalty to transparency and accountability, he's being inconsistent. In terms of his love for the union, he's been firm. He wants to see a vibrant union. He's been undermined. Every time he sends Yankona to NGO to negotiate for the union to get projects to empower and develop the capacity of journalists, Yankona doesn't go there because Yankona gets kickback from those institutions that the contracts are awarded to. So that's how Yankona came out and said, cartel, dirty money. He will defend that before and after the election. It will hunt him. You cannot benefit from Internews, an international accredited NGO working for the American government taxpayers' money, and you say to anybody that that's a cartel, that's a dirty money, and they want Julius Kanaba to go and clean it. That's a lazy argument, and it's a grave allegation. So I'm not disappointed. I'm only appalled, in the words of Mr. Yankona, that you stayed 9 years with Internews as your chief sponsor and tell us, bold-faced lie that Internews is a cartel. Now, Internews is saying to you, you have to prove this. This is not just an ordinary accusation. It's a very expensive, it's a very grave, it's a very important.
It's a damning allegation.
Damning.
So now, okay, let me just welcome my friend, brother. Yes, just
Jackson
call
Clay
him.
with Maserado County chairman.
So
right?
my name is Jackson C. Clay Jr. and
Okay.
happen to be the Maserado County coordinator of Team Julius Kanumba. But why is so that I also here representing the ideologues of Team Julius Kanumba.
The ideologue?
Ideologues, yeah, group
Who
of
are they?
professional. So we are a group of professional media colleagues within the media from various institutions that have come together and have seen the need that Julius can make a better president of the president of Liberia.
Why? What do people put your weight behind Julius?
So there are just a few reasons why we want to do that. Currently, as we speak, this union does not mean well for journalists in Liberia. And as such, we think that Julius come with a whole different style and a whole different ball game that can bring change within the Liberian media landscape. Yeah, he has 5 pillars. So the first one is accountability of leadership.
Okay.
This leadership has never given us accountable leadership since they took power. There was the 10,000 given to this leadership by a certain politician. Charles Coffey is telling us that the money was used for the refurbishment of the headquarters. Go to that Clay Street and Blue House 2-bedroom headquarters. There will be no refurbishment you see there. Nothing. Daniel Yankona, who wants to be the president, is telling us this money is in an escrow account. Where is this escrow account? Provide the details.
They both are conflicting.
They are conflicting. The guys are not ready for us. This very same leadership protested here for the maltreatment being meted against journalists in this country. The president went to work and form this team, headed by Dr. Lauren Brobley. Where is the report? This leadership is still tight-lipped on it. Should we continue like that so our colleagues can be maltreated as we approach the 2023 election? We said no. And that's the reason why we are calling for a change within the president of Liberia. And the only change here is Julius Kanumba. This guy has what it takes to transform this president of Liberia.
But there's this argument that the other side is putting out. In fact, let me just announce that last week, that was on last Sunday, yes, okay, or Saturday, I contacted the head of the Elections Commission of the PL, of the Press Union, Ade Wedek, here because there are issues popping up, and those issues, they are on the neck of the Election Commission. So I sought to talk to Madam Kekula, but she said, well, we got a lot on our plate and we're not prepared to come on public yet. So we're hoping that, again, we can extend our invitation to Ade Wedi Kekula. Besides that, we're hoping that next week we can have the son from Daniel Yankona. I hope that they can come as well when we invite them. But